Our next speaker is Dr. Shakil Singh, who is the head of the Department of Ophthalmology from Sri Guru Ram Das Institute of Medical Sciences and is also the director in chief of Dr. Shakeen Eye Hospital. He is also the president of Punjab Ophthalmic Society, an NABH assessor who is seen everywhere, doing a great job of his. And of course, he holds many more responsible posts in different societies, and he has a teaching pearl for us. On to you, Dr. Shakeen Singh.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everybody, and I must thank ARC to give me this opportunity to share my ideas.
Doctor, can you be louder?
Louder.
Yes.
Okay. The topic given to me is the cataract nigra, so also called gutta serena, and I would not go into detail of this biochemistry change in the cataract. And planning to conquer this successfully is my take is to have a dispersive visco or maybe a short cell technique, a well dilated people, large rexes, sharp chopper, and with a chain strategy that's a eat the bulk, deep trench to reach more than 80% of the depth, as has been shared earlier by Dr. Mohanrajan and other people. So break into multiple small fragments so that they can act as a cushion over the tip to avoid an endothelial damage and a high power and a vacuum. So these are slightly changed setting in my FIPCO, and there's an increased on time as compared to my normal setting. I increased the on time more to 70%. So this is the one first case I'm going to
Not
share.
able to hear you, Shakin.
So this is the first case I'm going to share with you. Is it? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
The usual capsulorhexis, which is this. These steps are common in all those
So
cases.
you're not audible at all, Dr. Shakeen.
Should I do it again?
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
I think you should keep holding the mic in your hand, sir, close
Yeah.
to your mouth.
That's what.
Yes.
So I'm going to reach the tunnel now. So you have to have a deep trench, and my aim is to have a 100% break. So it's a deeper trench to reach the other sides, and definitely understanding the physiology and pathology, the physiology of the lens being deeper in the center. I would reach the other side, maybe a more length in the mid, and rotate and repeat the same onto the opposite side, and breaking into 2 and a 4 then. And then you can use the chopper to cut off the vertical chop and the horizontal chop simultaneously combination and pull out the fragment out of the bag. That would help us to eat, break, chop, and eat away. So this fragmentation, covering the tip, breaking into small pies, and then eating. And I'm preferring my burst mode. I hold the fragment and then I shoot the power with the burst raised to 70% of the on time so that there's less of the endothelial damage and eat away the harder part. You know, these nuclei, they're different from the normal nuclei, which is harder, and they are leathery, would not be able to be torn away or would be eaten away. Luckily, this case which I'm sharing is not that leathery to look in, but few cases they really trouble you. And for those, we have different techniques to go on. So less of the cortical part would remain here because there's a very thin remnants there. So with a simple process, you aspirate, and I always use a coaxial. My technique is always coaxial. I don't use bimanual. And like it was shared in the previous meeting, previous talk, I always protect with my hook, so that if the pupil is not cooperating. So this is the second options with me. Like in the harder cataracts which are leathery in appearance, you may have to struggle with the nucleus fragmentation or chopping. So in these cases, I have my own design chopper with a side cut, horizontal side chopping technique. You hold with the nucleus with a high vacuum, and then you cut from the side with a side chopping, side cutting chopper, and it would break the nuclei into smaller fragments. You see, it's easy to handle. maneuverability is much better as compared to the reverse cutting or other choppers. And you can fragment it easily and you can get the things done away. And the aspiration and the length dialing in, and we are through the process. Safe, you are through. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shakeen Singh. Can you stop sharing your screen? Yeah. Question to my expert panel. Would you believe in doing phaco in all grades of cataract, or would there be a time when any of you would think of converting it to an SICS?
Shall I answer?
Yes.
If the pupil is dilating well, the cornea is healthy, I will do phaco for all patients, irrespective of the grade of the cataract. So that is the thing. The only thing is all the parameters, Shakeen has rightly said. I'll use a sharp chopper. I have the 2 millimeter chopper with me, which is made by Appasamy. Go all the way down, wide and deep trench, very important. And then cut the cataract into as many small pieces as possible before you bring them up. Very important. Otherwise, you'll have a cornea which is white the next day. Now and then inject viscoat, dispersive viscoelastic into the anterior chamber and make sure that you protect the endothelium and protect the pieces from touching the endothelium as well.
I think Dr. Mohan Rajan summarized it very well.
Very well.
Viscoat, I think I would first thing I would do is put viscoat to cover up the thing. And multi-step chopping, which I think Dr. Rohit Om Prakash also referred to in the previous presentation, works well for black cataracts such as this.
And if you're using Centurion, Dr. Gaurav, how would you, the proportion of torsional and longitudinal?
So in fact, Dr. Chitra was going to say that, I would do phaco as long as I had a good machine, because
Yes.
I was struggling with an old machine. I would definitely do an SICS instead. So if you have one of the modern machines which cut really well, which have very good fluidics and which are very endothelium friendly, I would definitely prefer. And I definitely like to use 100% torsional, but sometimes on the Infinity we would get that the tip would get blocked. But with the balance tip and all, it rarely gets blocked. And you can add a little bit of linear if you want, but mostly I think even with 100% torsional, it works. The only other thing I would like to add here is that even I would prefer to do phaco in almost every grade of cataract if I had the right machine with me. And the second thing that I would do the woodpecker technique. It really helps because, I think when very super hard cataracts, you can embed your chopper, and rather than using the forces of the chopper to crack, once you've embedded, you've embedded the phaco tip and you have embedded the chopper, you can give 2-3 bursts of phaco power with the chopper pressing the nucleus against your phaco tip. And as you give those bursts, it works like the woodpecker thing and it cracks the nucleus very easily. And you can do this repeatedly, and rather than, struggling with the forces of lateral separation and trying to chop, sometimes it doesn't. A burst of phaco energy at that time really helps because it cracks it much better.
Very good. Anything else, Dr. Rohit, Dr. Sandeep?
I think it
Go
was
on to our next speaker.
I think it was a beautifully presented talk by Dr. Shakeen.
Yes.
Yes.
Staining is very important of the anterior capsule. If I'm asked to, summarize things, larger rexes should be done more
Yes.
than 5 millimeter, 5.25 or 5.5. And you can, retract this. If you're doing direct chop, you can retract the sleeve more, which will act as a dipstick. Because, in the center of the black cataract, which is anterior-posteriorly, the anterior-posterior length, thickness is more. It is 4.2 or 4.5 at times. If you retract maybe till 2 millimeter, that acts as a dipstick. So you can start from the proximal half, go right into, and when you find that your dipstick, which is the phaco sleeve, which is retracted, when you go fully deep, then you can chop it with the great Dr. Mohan Rajan's chopper, the 2 millimeter, that pointed one. And the most important click is that there should not be any, wavering of the nucleus fragment when you are trying to separate, because that can put stress on the zonules. Because in these black cataracts, we are at times, we have weak zonular apparatus also. That should also be borne in mind. And when you are doing the last piece, nuclear emulsification, you're using high fluidics at that point of time. You should step down your fluidics, because in the post-occlusion stage, you can end up with a posterior capsule rupture. So in that situation, you can at times put in an IOL scaffold, or that is the second thing which you can do. Otherwise, it was a perfectly, done.
No, I would not advocate, Rohit, I would not advocate a direct chop for black cataracts. I would do a trench. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do a wide and
Small,
trench,
yeah,
and then go into the bottom of the trench and then chop. It makes life easier in black cataracts.
But if you are a direct chopper, as quite a few of us would be, the clicks I've explained how you have to go into it, because you have to go directly into the the core of the nucleus, which is the most important click in the whole scenario.
So let's.
Is dioptry,
Yes, ma'am.
This case is like in brown cataract that can help, but in black you are unable to see. And I don't think the trypanbul would help in these patients with
What?
cataract. Trypanbul would not help, I suppose.
What will not help?
Oh, in black
Japan
cataract,
blue, he's
same
saying.
thing is saying in black cataract, perhaps it will not help. In brown, you may be still able to see the edge of the bluish rexus.
The function of doing trypan-blue staining is there are two functions for that. First, at times the red reflex is decreased. Number one, when you are chopping, at times the chopper is, very sharp. You don't want to hit the anterior capsular rim and have an extension into the periphery. So that acts, you can watch it, you can stain it, and you can know that where is the edge, and you can keep away from the edge while you are chopping. So the function is not single. There are two functions of staining the anterior capsule.
No, and also the nature of the capsule itself becomes different. From elastic, it becomes a little more papery.
Friable.
Then again, one has to have caution, because sometimes if the zonules are weak, everything will go at the back. And then you will have a blue glow instead of a red glow. Then sometimes it becomes very...
Staining technique also, you have to use the minimal amount of, trypan-blue for that matter. The 30 gauge modified technique, which I gave, there is only 1 or 2 drops of trypan-blue which is added, and that suffices. Because if we use more, then also the red reflex gets meshed up.
What I would do is just put an air bubble and put trypan-blue underneath that. There's a uniform staining of the anterior capsule.
Absolutely.
Don't keep the trypan-blue for a long time. If you keep the trypan long time, it will penetrate into the posterior capsule, into the anterior vitreous as well.
Yes. Very good points.